Why are you acting so high and mighty over a mere $300?
We don't need your chump change.
Laughing, my son and daughter-in-law looked down on me, hurling hurtful words. I've supported them for 10 years, knowing they were struggling. Seeing the two of them never settling into steady jobs, I always held back my complaints, wondering how I could help. And this is the thanks I get? Why did I ever think of helping them? I believe that one day they'd appreciate my efforts and change their attitudes, but that day never came. Isn't that answer enough? They've taken 10 years of my time and drained my hard-earned savings. Yet they scoff at my assistance, saying it's not enough and just spare change. I've given everything for my son and his wife without saying a word for 10 years. But that ends today. My name is Susanna, a woman in her 50s. My husband passed away, and now I live alone. We have one son, David. He moved out after college, married a woman, and started his family. Their home is close to mine, but truth be told, we don't get along. Son and daughter-in-law was what you would call a reason. David married Anissa, a co-worker from his first job after college. Anissa left the job when they got married, but less than a year later, David quit his job. Apparently, he got into trouble with his boss. David thought he could quickly find another job, but things didn't go as planned. He struggled to find a suitable position and eventually gave up on working altogether. Anissa showed no signs of wanting to work either, and they quickly fell into financial hardships. To help, I started giving them $300 a month. They were grateful at first, and I hoped they'd eventually stand on their own. But 10 years later, my monthly support seemed like a given to them, and not a gift. One month, when I was busy with family events and couldn't meet them for the usual handoff, they came knocking late at night.
Mom, you have to give us our money. Are you forgetting things in your old age?
Every time David teased me, my exhaustion from consecutive days would overwhelm me. I'll give you the allowance another time. Can you please leave for today? But Anissa, with her face burning with anger, shouted,
This happens every month. Just because you're my mom-in-law doesn't mean you can treat me this way?
And grabbed me by the collar. Suddenly wide awake from the shock, I handed over the already prepared $300 to my son and daughter-in-law that day.
You should have given it to us straightforwardly from the beginning. I don't want to raise my hand against my mom-in-law,
she said.
That's right,
David chimed in.
Please listen to what we have to say. If Mom gets dementia in the future, we're the ones who will be taking care of her. Wouldn't it be smart to be in our good graces now?
Their audacity infuriated me, but if I retaliated and displayed a domineering attitude now, I might injure their pride. I didn't want them ending up like David when he had left his job, possibly never regaining their footing in life. With that thought in mind, I swallowed my frustration, smiled, and simply said, I'm sorry, accepting their words. I retrospect, I think I had a wrong approach from that time onward. However, my overwhelming desire for them to somehow get their act together prevented me from seeing things clearly. But that wasn't the only unpleasant memory with them. One day at work, I got a call from a neighbor who has always been kind to us.
Susanna, can I talk to you for a moment? It's about your son and daughter-in-law.
Oh my, I'm so sorry. I'll be right over. Apparently, when the neighbor returned from shopping, there were signs of a break-in. And after checking the security camera footage, the culprits turned out to be my son and daughter-in-law. Though the room was a mess, fortunately nothing was stolen. The neighbor, knowing our situation, chose to contact me first instead of the authorities. I left work early, got in touch with David and Anissa, and the three of us went to apologize. I am deeply sorry, I kept repeating, while David and Anissa showed no signs of remorse. Although our neighbor was visibly upset, after agreeing to cover the cost of the broken window, the matter was settled. But on our way home, David and Anissa made a shocking statement.
Why are you old folks so narrow-minded? We just wanted to borrow a few things.
David scoffed. I let out an incredulous "What?" But without even glancing at me, Anissa added,
Exactly. What did we even do? We might have broken a window and ransacked the place, but we didn't steal anything. Isn't she overreacting?
To which David nodded.
Exactly.
I couldn't fathom their justification and stayed silent the entire time. I regretted not standing up to them and expressing how I felt. Could say it was my weakness that I couldn't do that. The episodes of David and Anissa's unchecked behavior continued to stand out. Thankfully, apart from the incident with the neighbor, they didn't trouble anyone else. I continued giving them their allowance, and whenever they pleaded for something, if it was within my budget, I'd buy it for them. David wanted toys and gadgets to fit in with his friends. Anissa craved branded items so she wouldn't feel inferior to others. Their demands escalated over time, and they began to rely on me for just about everything. It wasn't just about money anymore. On my days off, they'd call me over to do their household chores, working me tirelessly. We all need money to survive. They had neither the means nor the will to earn their own, so I had no choice but to support them. No matter how exhausted I was, I worked hard. Even when I was drained from work, I managed to do the household chores they asked of me. As a result, my health deteriorated. Dark circles formed under my eyes, my skin broke out, and I constantly felt dizzy. Seeing me like this, my son and daughter-in-law joke.
You look like a monster.
Anissa pointed at me and said,
You've given up on being a woman.
I was too drained to even respond to their cruel words. I knew I was reaching my limit. But I believed that if I didn't keep going, both they and I would be ruined. So I pushed through, doing my best to keep moving forward. Deep down, I wished I could lean on someone else. Admit I didn't want to push myself anymore. Then one day, while doing chores at their house, a minor incident led to a big argument. I was worn out and had no patience left, so every little thing they did irritated me. Anissa snapped.
All this fuss over just $300?
David, taking her cue, said,
I don't need such chump change.
and handed back the $300 I had just given him.
If you want to give us money, bring a better amount.
They laughed, looking down on me. That was the last straw for me. I get it. I'll stop then. Without thinking about the future or their well-being, the words just spilled out. They tilted their heads in confusion. But when I started packing to leave, they burst into laughter.
Mom, stop joking. Without us, you'd be all alone. You wouldn't survive without your precious son and daughter-in-law.
Mom-in-law, when did you become such a joker? That joke wasn't funny. You had me worried for a second.
Thinking I wasn't serious about stopping the financial support, they continued to mock me.
Go ahead and try. But if you do, we'll cut ties with you. Let's see if you have the guts to live all alone.
Come on, our spineless mom-in-law can't do that, right? You want to take back what you said in no time.
Seeing their cruel behavior, I finally woke up. Why was I sending them money, buying them things, and doing their chores? What was in it for me? I was just being taken advantage of. They treated me like a housemate, And even at my breaking point, they acted this way. They might be my family by law, but I couldn't recognize them as such with their behavior. Sorry, but I'm serious. Don't regret your words later. Even after I said that, they just laughed, thinking it was a joke.
Go ahead and try, but you'll regret it. I can already see it.
David's words ignited a fire within me. I was determined to make them pay. I would make them realize how valuable I was to them and how wrong they were to treat me so poorly. As I packed my things to leave, all I could think was how I'd make them suffer. First, I cut off all the financial support I had been providing to my son and daughter-in-law. No more money, no more financial aid, and no more household help. For someone who had lived for their sake, this act of not considering them at all was a first for me. I could finally rest without thinking about them. I could spend my money on myself and only do household chores to my satisfaction. I realized how liberating it was to live this way. They said I'd never be able to cut ties and live alone. But this life, free from others' control, was exactly what I had been longing for the past decade. I decided to take another step to corner them. The apartment they were living in was actually rented in my name after they lost their previous home due to financial troubles. Of course, I was the one paying the rent. If I was cutting off all support, it made no sense to continue paying the rent. So I contacted the apartment manager and decided to terminate the lease. The manager, aware of our situation, was understanding and agreed. In a month, they'd have to leave the apartment or the police would be notified. That night, I messaged them. If you don't leave the apartment within a month, it'll become a police matter. They read the message immediately, and within minutes, my phone rang.
Mom, what's going on? Where are we supposed to live?
David yelled. I could hear Anissa panicking in the background.
Did you forget I was the one paying the rent for that apartment?
I told you I'm cutting off all support. So it's only natural I end up the lease too, right?
We'd never agreed to that. We thought you were just stopping the monthly allowance, not everything else.
David's entitled response made me chuckle. After all the hurtful things they said, they still expected me to support them in other ways. Their audacity was dizzying. I had given them everything. My money, my time, all for their sake. All because I wanted them to have a self-sufficient life. But it was a mistake. The more I indulged them, the more they took advantage. In that case, I should have made my stance clear and made them listen to me from the start. I was the one who sent them money, provided financial support, and did their chores. No matter how you look at it, I held a higher ground compared to my son and daughter-in-law. They should have shown respect and gratitude. Yet they treated me like a mere housemaid, a tool, an ATM, and even had the audacity to mock me when I was at my lowest. Why did I try so hard for them? Even when they were unreasonable, I endured without speaking up. All they did was take advantage of my kindness. It took me reaching my breaking point to realize how selfish and ungrateful they were, and that they never truly saw me as a family. They may have even seen me as useful, but never as a family member. Why didn't I see this sooner? Why did I keep doing my best until I felt like I had reached my limit? Why did I keep giving and believing? My past actions now seem so pitiful. I believe they've someday become independent, but it was all for nothing. Regretting the past, my anger towards them surged. I needed to confront them, make them admit their wrongs, and apologize. Unless he admits his past sins and apologizes, he will not be satisfied. Feeling this way, I spoke up again. You thought I'd stop the allowance but continue other support? How naive can you be? David tried to interject.
But
I cut him off. No buts. Do you realize how much you've relied on me? You should be grateful. Instead, you've taken advantage of me. Why would I want to keep supporting you? Listen, your lives have always depended on me. If you upset me even once, and I felt like not helping you, that would have been the end for you. It's a good thing I was so naive. I kept hoping you'd someday stand on your own, that you wouldn't always need my help. I was such a kind-hearted mom.
yeah, Mom is kind. You don't really want to abandon us, right? You said things in the heat of the moment, and now you can take them back. I forgive you, Mom. Let's try to be a family again, okay?
Don't be ridiculous. I've opened my eyes. No matter how hard I tried to support you, you never wanted to be independent. You just wanted to live comfortably on my dime, right? David, sounding panic, replied.
That's not true. We did want to be independent, but it's hard. Neither of us feels motivated to find a job. We did our best, but it wasn't enough.
I almost laughed at his words.
Did your best? I've watched you two for years. You never tried to find jobs or live frugally. You just enjoyed carefree life on my dime.
Listen, Mom, we're truly grateful for everything you've done. We know we owe our lives to you. We need you. Let's start over.
What? Why would I need you? One's an unemployed man who's been jobless for a decade, and the other's fake housewife who only thinks of herself. Why would I want you in my life? Do you know how much I've sacrificed for you? I've worked every day to provide for you, even doing chores on my days off. I'm not foolish enough to want that life anymore.
Don't say that, Mom. We need you. Without someone like you to support us,
No matter how much I tell him, David doesn't listen to my opinion and tries to push his own opinion. Before I could reply, I heard,
Let me talk.
and Anisa took the phone.
Mom-in-law, I'm fed up with David's selfishness too. Men should work and support their families, but he just plays around. I regret marrying him every day. I'm a victim just like you. Please help me.
Anisa was trying to save herself at David's expense. When I was stunned by his attitude, Anisa continued speaking. She continued,
I'll do anything. Be your housemaid, whatever you want. Please don't abandon me.
After those words, I could hear son and daughter-in-law arguing again over the phone, fighting over who gets to speak. Suddenly, due to the loudness, or maybe they bumped into something, the call got disconnected. Days went by without another call from my son and daughter-in-law. It seemed their relationship deteriorated significantly after that incident, leading them to decide on a divorce and go their separate ways. They blamed each other, even demanding alimony, causing a lot of disputes before the divorce was finalized. After the divorce, both tried to reach out to me. However, by that time, I had already blocked their numbers, so I never heard their side of the story. David started working part-time at a factory, day and night, managing to make ends meet. On the other hand, Anisa, in tears, fled back to her former in-laws' house. When she confessed everything to her former step-parents, they were furious. She was brought by her former step-parents to apologize, but she cried throughout, making it hard to understand her. Since then, I'd been living for myself. For 10 years, I was bound by the presence of son and daughter-in-law, never truly cherishing my own time. Living a life centered on myself felt incredibly refreshing and irresistibly appealing. Losing son and daughter-in-law left me all alone in the world, but I came to see that as a blessing. I don't know what the future holds. There might come a time when I can't live just for myself anymore, but for now, I've decided to live solely for my own sake.
I wonder when he started looking down on me like this. Before we were married, he was so kind and always respected my opinions. Incompetent, stupid, dumb. He hurls these heartless words at me daily, asserting how much better he is than me. One day, I couldn't take it anymore and talked back. and he just snapped and stormed out. That's when I realized I should have done this from the start. My name is Melissa, 28 years old. I'm just an average employee at a company. I met my husband Dave through a friend's introduction, and after dating for 2 years, we got married. From the beginning, he was really smart and always made me feel happy.
This is for you, Melissa.
Oh my gosh! Is this the brand I said I liked?
It's been a year since we started dating. I wanted to give you something memorable.
This is so expensive. I feel bad. Like, I've made you go out of your way.
Don't worry about it. I bought it because I wanted to give it to you.
He was so thoughtful, almost unbelievably so for a man, always noticing even the smallest changes in me. Looking back, maybe he was just used to dealing with women. But to me, with my limited dating experience, he was incredibly charming. He was fair and kind to everyone, great at making conversation, had a good rapport with people, and was well liked. But that was just on the surface. A year into our marriage, the kind man I knew was gone. He still puts on a good front outside, but at home, he turns into the worst kind of guy, throwing around his authority. We both work, but I always end up doing all the household chores. If I come home late from overtime or serve a ready-made dinner, he instantly starts berating me.
Why is dinner just a ready-to-eat food from the supermarket?
Sorry, I got held up with overtime and didn't have time to cook.
Don't make excuses. You're so useless. Can't even make a proper dinner.
But what am I supposed to do? I work too, you know. If you're going to complain, why don't you cook sometimes?
What? Are you crazy? I'm allowing you to work. Be grateful to me, you slacker. Just go make something.
In his mind, it seems like I'm the one being selfish for wanting to work. I just want to keep working until we have kids. He never thinks of sharing the household chores, even though we both work. He constantly puts people down, but when something good happens at work, he won't stop bragging about it. Just the other day, he came home in a great mood and started boasting right away.
Today, at work, the juniors kept relying on me. I'm so busy with my own work, but I can't help it.
That sounds tough. Good job.
Everyone at the company acknowledges my abilities. Naturally, people gravitate towards me.
That's impressive, Dave.
Right? I'm on a different level from a loser like you. You should be thankful you got to marry someone as capable as me.
Our monthly incomes are not that different, yet he acts as if he's the only one who's superior. Frankly, his attitude often infuriates me. I usually try to bear it, but sometimes I can't help but talk back. No matter what I say, his opinions never change. He just counters with his usual faulty logic. Lately, even arguing feels too exhausting. Keeping a diary has been my hobby since I was young. In the beginning of our relationship, it was full of happy memories. But lately, it's just a record of the insults and verbal abuse he hurls at me. Then one day, something unforgivable happened. I had planned to go out for dinner with my best friend Lisa for her birthday a month in advance. I had told Dave and he had agreed. But on the day, he suddenly says something outrageous.
What? We're going to my parents' house right now.
What? I couldn't believe my ears. No way, I can't today. I've already made plans to celebrate Lisa's birthday.
Forget about that trivial thing. Just get ready to go to my parents' house.
I told you, I can't. I have plans with Lisa. If it's that important, go by yourself.
If I go alone, my parents will think we're having marital issues. They'll start asking all sorts of questions.
He's always been all about appearances. Only thinks about himself. I sighed heavily, and he, apparently not liking my reaction, turned red with anger and started shouting.
Just get ready, will you? You're stupid and useless. And your friend must be no better.
What? What are you saying?
No need to celebrate a birthday for such a person. It's a waste of money and time.
How dare you? Lisa is my dear friend. Take back what you said.
I'm just stating facts. Got a problem with that?
Of course I do. I can't just stay quiet when you insult my best friend. I won't forgive you until you take back those words and apologize. He smirked provocatively, snorted, and said,
Not forgiving me until I apologize? Whatever. Do as you like. I don't need your forgiveness.
What kind of attitude is that? Do you realize how awful you're being? You insulted my dear friend.
Oh, this is so annoying. Fine, I'm leaving. You should use this time to think about how you should behave towards me from now on. Think hard with that useless brain of yours.
After saying that, Dave left with just a few of his belongings. That was the moment when any love I had left for him completely vanished. I can't forgive him anymore. It's one thing to insult me, but to insult my best friend too? I didn't chase after him. Instead, I went to meet Lisa. After enjoying dinner and shopping with her, I returned home in the evening. Dave hadn't come back yet, but I didn't care. My feelings for him had already cooled off. He didn't return for a few days, and I enjoyed my time alone. And during this time, I realized something. Wait a minute. It's so much more comfortable without him around. Even when I manage the household chores in between work, he never appreciates or thanks me. Instead, he digs up faults in others and berates me. Continuing a marriage with such a man seems like a waste of time and money. His presence in my life is nothing but a hindrance. Why did I even try so hard to understand such a husband? Thinking about it, all my patience up until now just seems ridiculous. Continuing this marriage will only wear down my mental health. It's smarter to get a divorce sooner rather than later. With that decision made, I confided in my best friend Lisa. She listened to me sympathetically. Oh, I had no idea. I always thought you had a happy marriage. He's always desperate to keep up appearances. And at home, he's awful. I said this with a distant look in my eyes, and Lisa murmured, I see. So, what will you do now? I'm thinking of getting a divorce. I see. If that's your decision, then I support it. Want me to introduce you to a good lawyer? That would be a big help. Well, I work at a law firm, you know. I know plenty of sharp divorce lawyers. Thank you. I can finally be free from that man and start a new life. After that, I consulted with a lawyer she introduced me to and started preparing for the divorce. Dave returned exactly a week after he had left. Seeing me, he smirked and said,
Melissa, long time no see. So, you must have had a lot to think about living alone, huh?
Indeed, I did realize quite a few things. He nodded, looking satisfied.
Good. You must have realized how much you appreciate me. You've reflected on your actions, right?
Reflected? What exactly should I be reflecting on?
Huh? You really are dense. I gave you all that time to think, but you haven't changed at all.
No, I have changed. He looked puzzled as I said this firmly.
Changed? In what way?
My feelings have changed.
Huh? How? You look exactly the same to me.
Can you just sign this for now?
What's this?
It's a divorce form. Can't you tell?
Divorce form?
Seeing the divorce form, he suddenly got furious.
Hey, are you crazy? You realized how much you need me while I was gone, didn't you?
Don't be ridiculous. I was actually quite comfortable alone. That's why I'm saying let's get a divorce.
What the? You can't just decide that on your own. Why do you think I left for a week? To give you time to reflect on your behavior.
Yes, I'm grateful for that. It gave me the chance to realize that I'm more comfortable without you, and that I don't need a man like you.
What?
He probably never imagined that I would decide to divorce him while he was away. He opened and closed his mouth, struggling for words.
You're talking nonsense. I gave you time out of my goodwill, and now you're talking about divorce? I won't accept such selfish behavior.
You don't have to accept it, but I won't cancel the divorce. And I'll be asking for compensation for the mental distress you've caused me daily.
Compensation? Why should I pay anything? I've only ever told the truth.
Do you think your oppressive words are justified? Even if they're true, being married doesn't give you the right to say anything.
Shut up. You're so arrogant. I won't pay any compensation.
Do as you like, but I'll have a lawyer, so be prepared. He started trembling and his face turned red with anger, like a volcano ready to erupt. He couldn't accept being cornered by the woman he had always looked down upon. He started yelling, spitting as he spoke.
Enough, you trash. You should have just listened to me instead of getting carried away. Who put such nonsense in your head? That worthless friend of yours?
I decided on the divorce all by myself.
Then you're a complete idiot. By divorcing me, you're just losing a capable husband. It's all downsides for you.
I can't believe you actually say that. The only one who thinks you're capable is yourself. Why can't you see that?
What did you say?
Just pay the compensation and sign the divorce form quickly, okay?
Shut up. First of all, you have no proof.
Oh, I have proof. I showed him my smartphone, which had numerous diary entries recorded. They detailed all the verbal abuse I had endured. He stared at the screen, and I told him clearly, detailed diaries like this can definitely be used as evidence. I was surprised myself.
You've been recording this the whole time?
It was a daily routine for me. Keeping a diary has always been like a hobby. But who knew it would come in handy like this? It was worth keeping it all these years.
You think I'll let you get away with this?
He stomped off to my room looking for the diary, probably to destroy the evidence. I watched him frantically search for it and said with a smile, "Go ahead and look. I hate to break it to you while you're searching so hard, but it's pointless. I've already given that diary to my lawyer. Did you really think I'd just leave such crucial evidence lying around? While you were gone, I was already moving forward with the divorce preparations."
Shut up. Anyway, I won't accept a divorce. I won't allow it.
Huh? I don't need your permission. I can get a divorce just fine without it, especially with all the evidence I've gathered. Dave wanted to say something back, but seemed to realize it was futile and just clenched his teeth in anger. It appears he doesn't think he's at fault at all. I was utterly disgusted with him. You look really ridiculous right now.
What did you say?
Do you even understand why things turned out this way? It's because you're the type of despicable person who belittles others without any guilt. Maybe you thought once we were married and you had put on a good front, you'd have me for life. Too bad. I'm not foolish enough to devote my life to a lowlife like you.
You? How dare you talk to me like that? Who do you think I am?
You? I just see you as a self-absorbed piece of trash.
Trash, you say?
While you were gone, I realized that being married to trash like you is a waste of time. So, I decided to dump you quickly. You can struggle and suffer all you want. I hope you hit rock bottom. Just stay out of my life, forever. Ignoring my stunned husband, I walked out of the house, never to look back again. When I told his parents about the divorce, they were furious.
You fool! Divorce is a disgrace to our family.
Exactly. How can we face our neighbors now? What are you going to do about this? I guess apples don't fall far from the tree. His parents also seemed to care excessively about appearances. His father scolded him harshly and even smacked him.
Oh, stop, Dad. Quiet. You can't even keep your family together, you pitiful fool. But I never thought she would stand up to me like that. You're disowned. Don't come back to this house. What? Reflect on your actions alone.
Dave apparently didn't expect to be hit by his father. He was pathetically crying and begging for forgiveness, to no avail. He was swiftly disowned by his parents. After that, my diary served as solid evidence, and the divorce went through. I successfully received the compensation, too. My ex-husband's life fell apart after I left. His meals consisted of convenience store food or instant noodles, and his suits were all wrinkled. It's the natural consequence of him dumping all the housework on me. Word of the divorce reason slowly spread in his company, and his reputation plummeted. Now, he's treated like a pariah by his colleagues. For someone who used to boast about being relied upon by juniors, it must be a bitter pill to swallow. Honestly, he got what he deserved. As for me, I moved to an apartment near my office, making my commute easier. Living without having to worry about pleasing someone else every day is true happiness. From now on, I'm focusing on my work and hoping that someday I'll meet someone wonderful and make the right choice for a happy life.